Hello everyone, this is Debra Richardson, and today I am putting the AP in Happy where accounts payable teams are empowered to protect the vendor master file from fraud. This podcast will give a voice to accounts payable team members by talking about the growing reality of cyber attacks in their world and which vendor setup and vendor management techniques they can apply to protect the vendor master file from fraud. Visit the Vendor Process Training Center to enroll in your choice of 55 plus training sessions that will help you and your team avoid fraud, compliance fines, and bad vendor data. Or just sign up to get access to vendor process FAQs and to attend weekly drop-in live Q&A sessions. Visit training.debrarrichardson.com today. The link will be in the show notes. Black Friday and Cyber Monday shopping bring good deals for those co-worker Secret Santa gifts. But many of those deals have to be shipped. So, cue the fraudsters. In this episode, discover 2 tips to avoid shipping fraud straight from the delivery giant themselves, the US Postal Service. Keep listening. Welcome to episode 265. 2 tips to avoid the turkeys in shipping scams from the US Postal Inspection Service. Now, for all of December, all of my content, including weekly podcasts that are published every Thursday, weekly videos, the Vendor Master File tip of the week that is published or that are published every Tuesday on my YouTube channel. Also, I publish a monthly LinkedIn article and also, it's going to culminate with a December webinar on December 20th with the topic of looking at 2023 trends in fraud and how to avoid them going into 2024. And I am calling this series of all of this content the Scam Busting series. And so I will have a separate page that will include all of the content included, and it'll have links to it so you don't have to worry about going here or there. Although if you are not subscribe to my YouTube channel, to this podcast, or to my LinkedIn newsletter, please do that ASAP. But I will have one page dedicated to this scam busting series, and I will link that in the show notes. Now, I do want to just say that fraudsters last weekend, they probably got no sleep, right? They have their quotas because they're in a business just like we are in business. They work for people that expect things to be done, same as you do every day. And so they are in like heaven right now because we've got Black Friday coming up, and then that following business day, Monday, is Cyber Monday. And then on Tuesday, because it's always the Tuesday after Thanksgiving, there is Giving Tuesday. That once a year event where many employers will match their employees' donations to charities, right? And so that's a really big day, and fraudsters are all over each of those, right? Black Friday, Cyber Monday, not just shipping scams, which is what we're going to talk about today, but also, right, fake websites, fake vouchers, fake coupons, anything to do with shopping. And I actually do have a new scam alert that talks about the 10 most prevalent Black Friday scams that are out there. And I'm going to put a link to that new scam alert in the show notes. So check that out if you are interested. And also, I mentioned the charity or the Giving Tuesday and the fake charities. And so I'm not going to address that in this episode, but I do have a Vendor Master File tip of the week over on my YouTube channel. I'm going to link that in the show notes, and it's 2 free validations. Don't pay a fake charity on Giving Tuesday. So if you're interested in that, then click over there. It's like 5 minutes, or actually almost 6 minutes. So check that out and make sure you're validating those charities before you're paying those on Giving Tuesday. All right, so let's get to today's episode for the 2 tips to avoid turkeys in the shipping scams. And so these 2 tips come from the US Postal Inspection Service. And I have to be honest, I didn't really even know that they existed until I went to a conference back in, I think it was early April. And then I came right back out and I shared all that information about what they do, who they are, and how you can sign up for their scam alerts. And they do have a lot. So I am going to, or I won't link to it, but the episode that I did on that was episode 235, and it was 5 tips from the US Postal Inspection Service that your team can use to combat fraud. And again, that is episode 235, and it talks all about the US Postal Inspection Service. And I have to tell you, I was a little secured when I saw that. As a matter of fact, their tagline on their page says, "Security, it comes with the stamp. The Postal Inspection Service is standing guard and ready to help." Okay, then. All right, so check that episode out. And then in that episode, in the show notes, it also has links to the US Postal Inspection Service page and links to where you can sign up for their scam alerts. All right, so let's jump into the 2 tips from the US Postal Inspection Service. And so this one comes from a scam article, and it was actually just posted or updated in October, so last month as of the publishing of this podcast. And so it talks about smishing. And if you guys aren't familiar with smishing, is when the fraudsters will try to get you to click on a link or reveal sensitive information, but this time it's not in the email, so it's not called phishing. It's in a text message or SMS message, and so it's called smishing. Okay, so let's get started on the 2 tips in this article. So the first tip is the United States Postal Service, or USPS, will not send a text message or email for that matter without you first requesting the service with a tracking number. And we've all been there, right? We have a tracking number for USPS. We go on, we track it, and we enter in that tracking number. And then when we look at the results, there's always an option to enter in your mobile number so that you can get tracking notifications. So if you know that you did not asked to be notified of a specific package, that tracking notification, if you didn't ask for that and you receive a text message claiming to be from USPS, then that's got to be a red flag. Okay, so USPS will not send you a text message unless you specifically requested when you track that package and you opt into it by giving your mobile number. So that's 1. And then 2, even if you do that, let's say you track the package, you request that notifications be sent to you for that package, so you put your mobile number in. Even when they send you, USPS sends you that tracking notification, it will not contain a link. So if you get a text message claiming to be from the USPS, United States Postal Service, about a package, and one, you did not request notifications to be sent to you by text, and that text message includes a link, it's probably a scam. Now, I have to tell you, I did not know that, and I am going to keep these 2 tips in mind as I holiday shop. Now, the last thing I want to say on this is also in this article, they include how to report any smishing activities. And so they give an email address of spam at USPIS.gov. So that must be United States Postal Inspection Service.gov. So USPIS.gov, or spam at USPIS.gov. Be careful when you do that, though, because you're going to be sending an email and they tell you be sure to not click on the link, but copy the body of that text message and paste it into a new email. And I guess because they need to have like the active link in order to do their research or due diligence, but they also want a screenshot of that text message as well. All right, so those were the 2 tips of how to avoid shipping scams in Smishing, and also where to report it if you do receive that a Smishing text message, right? A scam text message from the United States Postal Service. So thanks, everyone. I hope you enjoyed the 265th episode of the Putting the AP in Happy podcast, where accounts payable teams are empowered to protect the vendor master file from fraud. Don't forget to check the show notes for the links mentioned in the podcast. And if you enjoyed this episode, consider subscribing and writing a review of my podcast on the platform that you use to listen. Stay happy.